Hi, it's Sadie. I wanted to come on and do a Mercury retrograde energy reading for the energy of this Mercury retrograde. This one is actually probably one of the most interesting Mercury retrogrades. It's going to have its normal Mercury retrograde issues, communication breakdowns, technology mishaps, travel cancellations. I was reading yesterday, I believe it was like the Austin airport. There was some sort of glitch that caused a bunch of flights to be canceled and people were stuck in the airport. And I'm like, yeah, we're Mercury retrograde shadow. That's what happens. So officially we start Mercury retrograde tomorrow on the 9th and it ends on October 2nd. So it's going to last the rest of this month. But why this one is so interesting is because it is going to be in the sign of Libra. Libra is about partnerships, relationships. It's also about justice. And so the thing about the justice energy is it's highly dualistic. There are two sides. And so because of that, in relationships, especially when it comes to communication and relationships, there are two sides. And so this Mercury retrograde could be challenging for many because the words that you say could be misconstrued. The thing about communication in general is most communication, 90% of all communication is nonverbal. But that 10% that is verbal, 90% of that, people hear what they want to hear, not necessarily what is said. And so this is a time where people will jump to conclusions, assumptions, and that could cause a lot of turmoil, strife, and conflict within relationships because people are hearing what they want to hear, not really listening. Also, things get said in a way where it can be taken out of context very, very easily. So this is a time to really, I'm going to use the Ace of Swords for communication. When you are communicating, use integrity, speak your truth, keep it short and sweet, and just try to be as clear as possible. That's really going to be helpful in all of your communication with all of your relationships, whether this is work, business, partnerships, friendships, family. If you can keep as clear as you can possibly be, just really, really speak your truth, but do it in a way that you're making your intentions very clear and very known. You can kind of avoid some of the communication breakdowns and the conflicts that are going to arise during this period. The other thing with Mercury in retrograde, because it's going to be in the sign of Libra, justice is a big energy with this one. So it can bring out a lot of truths. It can bring karma returned, whether that is for the good or not so good. And it can also bring in a lot of resolutions. Things that get sort of brought back from the past have a second life. That is what retrograde cycles give to all of us. They give us an opportunity to redo something from the past. This is a time to redo, to revisit something, to even restructure something. And so I thought it was very interesting that the energy today, the card of the day was Judgment, which is all about a redo or a renewal. And this energy is going to be very, very strong during this Mercury retrograde because, again, the karma that's coming back to you, a wrong that was done to you in the past could be righted during this time. Vice versa. If you did wrong or harmed someone in the past, that could come back to bite you. The judgment could be upon you this time. And so it's just really, really important this Mercury retrograde cycle to understand that things are not going to go as planned. There are going to be a lot of twists and turns, communication shakeups, relationship breakups, relationship resolutions that came out of nowhere. It's really sort of this very, again, dualistic energy that's hard to navigate. The thing about this Mercury retrograde too is that it's not going to stay in the sign of Libra. As it goes retrograde, it's actually going to go back into the sign of Virgo on September 23rd. And that's going to bring more of an emphasis around money, finances, abundance, and stability. And so this one, again, it's really, really interesting because it's going to bring up sort of all of the major things in our lives. What we value, what's important to us, what makes us feel stable, our relationships, the people around us, the people in our lives. One of the ways that it's going to bring up truths is it's going to bring them in sort of an inadvertent way. I've already seen this happen in my life and people around me where somebody said something that maybe they weren't supposed to say, but everybody heard it, and then kind of it revealed the truth of a situation. So just be very mindful that this energy it's out there. It's like nothing can be hidden. Things are going to get revealed. Things are going to get disclosed. Again, if you're just being honest, if you're staying in integrity and trying to maintain some balance and equilibrium, speaking as clearly as possible, you will be fine. You will come out of this period unscathed. But this is a time where it's really, really important to be cautious about the things that you sign, any sort of agreements or contracts that you get involved in. Just definitely read the fine print, because the thing with Mercury in retrograde is that it is mercurial. It's changeable. It goes retrograde, but then it goes back direct. And so sometimes the energy of it going back direct changes the circumstances of a situation. This is also not a great time to do an elective surgery. Elective meaning like, something that's not absolutely medically necessary. It's really just kind of a time to go back to things of the past that need a second look, and spend time reviewing, revising, even recouping your energy. Because there are so many planets in retrograde now, I believe there's 6, but there could be more. It's really time right now to rest, restore, regroup, and sort of figure out where you want to go next. This is a good time for planning. It's not necessarily a great time for action. And that's what's hard about it too, is because with Mars being in Gemini, it makes you kind of want to move forward, but everything in your environment might be stopping you from moving forward. And so that can be very, very frustrating too, because the Mercury in retrograde can bring up a lot of false starts where things seem like they're moving in the right direction, and then all of a sudden they just screech to a halt, and you're like, what just happened? Well, that's the energy right now. So just really, really important to be flexible, to be adaptable, take everything sort of with a grain of salt. Nothing that people say is personal at this time. It's just not. A lot of people are triggered, especially because we're heading into that Pisces full moon, which is incredibly intense. And so there's a lot happening in the cosmos, and it's going to impact us all. You will survive. The survival guide for Mercury retrograde is, again, just giving yourself extra time. Traffic is going to be worse Weather could be worse. Travel could be worse. Understand that things can be delayed and or canceled. And so have a backup plan, have a plan A, B, C. Very important during this time. Also, for those of you who are in relationships or someone from the past comes back and communication starts back up, it's really a time to just, again, speak your truth, be as authentic as possible, and make your intentions clear, because the energy of Mercury in retrograde can kind of make things seem fuzzy or foggy or not exactly what they appear to be on the surface. And so really important to just keep it 100 all of the time. And again, that's how you will navigate and survive at this Mercury retrograde cycle. So with that, I think I've talked more than enough. I'm going to use the Thelema Tarot to tap into the tarot and see what else wants to come through. But for those of you who've been wanting communication, it probably will come up during this time. But there could be a lot of shifts and changes when it comes to relationships as well. So just be mindful of that. All right. Higher self, Holy Spirit, guides and guardians of unconditional love. What are we bringing through for this Mercury retrograde cycle? Let's see what else. And one final message. Wow. Okay. So we have Five of Wands, which is about conflict, competing interest. This could be in relationships with people in your life currently. It also could be internal conflicts, things that you feel really sort of torn about. With the Five of Wands energy, it's always good to take a step back from what you feel conflicted about. If this is people and situations, take a step back, take a break from them to gain a higher perspective. If this is your own inner conflict, it's really a time to cease trying to make a decision and just surrender the outcome to the divine and ask for guidance as to the best step for you to make at this time. All right. Because we do have justice. There is absolutely balance coming through. The energy of this justice is so strong right now. And again, for better or worse, there is a lot of karma being cleared and completed at this time. And so really, really important to just, if you want a fair resolution, make sure that you're being fair, not just to yourself, but to everybody else involved. And just stay balanced. That is the key with justice energy. Stay balanced. You know, duality is one thing or another. And if you're here in the middle, then you're staying in that balanced space and you're not being swung in one direction or another. All right. You have the Chariot. This is about triumph. This is overcoming. So any sort of conflicts that you may be involved in right now, situations that are bringing a lot of stress, a lot of competition, these things are going to be resolved. With the Justice card and the Chariot, there is a really, really positive outcome coming here. And you have the Ace of Cups. In this reading with Mercury in retrograde, I'm really getting this is the renewal of love. This is the reconciliation of something. This also could be, you know, forgiveness and starting over, a fresh start for relationships. This could be, though, also related to family. It does not have to be a romantic partnership. You have the Tower, so something shocking, something very, very sudden happening, taking place. There could be a shocking resolution of a situation that you thought could never be healed. That's what I'm reading here as well. But the Tower also could be the breakdown of a situation as well. Things start to look good and then all of a sudden they break down. And again, because it's Mercury retrograde, That's kind of the energy. It's very mercurial. It's very changeable. You have the King of Wands. So this is fire energy. This could be Aries, Sagittarius, or Leo, but it also just could be someone who just has a very fiery, very, very charismatic personality. This could be a masculine in your life. This could be your energy, but there's a lot of fire here because we have the Five of Wands, we have the Tower, and we have the King of Wands. And so what's great about duality is that if you can counterbalance one energy that is of one extreme, you can bring more balance to a situation. So because there is so much fire here, so much passion, but there could be a lot of anger, a lot of hurt feelings as well. You have the Page of Cups finishing out the reading, which is more water energy. So if you are in a situation or a relationship that is very fiery, add more water to it. And what I mean by that is open your heart, communicate with love, be as gentle, kind, compassionate as possible, because it will temper the energy of conflict. It will help to heal and bring resolution to anything that is sort of not balanced at this time, and your outcome will be balance, justice, and victory. All right. So again, any situation that you are in that is very fiery, whether it be a romantic partnership, a family situation, a friendship, a work situation, this is the time to add more love, add more compassion, add more of the heart energy to it. And as you do, you'll see a tremendous healing and transformation take place. And as you do that too, that's where that rebirth energy will come in. So with that, I'm going to use the Shaman's Dream Oracle. Bottom of the deck is the Crossing, about initiations. So we're all kind of going through this energy in one way or another, where we're going through initiations, we're changing, we're growing, we're healing spiritually. And that oftentimes shows up as conflict or as a challenge. But it's because we're ready for it. The universe will not give us anything that we cannot handle. Even if you are in a situation right now where you feel like you cannot handle it, you are crossing into the light. And that situation is helping you to grow, heal, and ascend. All right. So let's see what else wants to come through for this Mercury retrograde cycle. Okay. Resonating. This is a time to really focus on what resonates with you. Focus on what brings you joy and happiness, and be around people that you feel sort of this loving resonance to, because the gathering around the power of community is very, very, very strong right now. You know, again, you are not alone. There are so many people who have either been where you're at currently and come through the other side of the initiation, or who are going through what you're going through currently. And so it's a time to just really reach out to like-minded people, things that resonate with you, and get strong, ground your energy, ground your strength in that community. It's also a time to rest. Retrogrades give us an opportunity to slow down. And so if you feel like your well is empty, if you feel depleted or exhausted in any way, it is time for you to replenish. It is time for you to rest, take a break, take it easy. Because the thing about manifestation is to manifest something better in your situation, to manifest something better in your life, it's not just about alignment. It's about having the energy, having the life force energy to bring it into form. And if you're exhausted, this is going to block or constrict your manifestations. And so spending more time on yourself, loving yourself, caring for yourself, replenishing yourself in any way that is, whether it's through your spiritual practices, meditation, yoga, taking walks outside, salt baths, just getting more sleep. Any way that you can replenish, it's really going to help you to gather in enough life force energy to manifest a solution, a resolution, a rebirth, or a healing of a situation, okay? We have this beautiful card, which I have never pulled in this deck before, and it is Straddling Worlds. And it says, Wandering Between Realms. This time is really, really highly spiritual. Your intuition, your guides are really with you. They're really talking to you. With Straddling Worlds as well, it's like you might be sort of in no man's land where it's like there's a situation that is changing and transforming, but you don't know how it's going to end up. And again, this is exactly where you're meant to be. You're meant to be wandering in between the realms because you're creating the way forward. As you rest, get the power of community, do what resonates with you, you're actually gathering enough life force energy within you to make the crossing. And then we have Sky Bridge, possibility for union. So where there has been conflict and strife in relationships, especially related to divine counterparts, because we are mirroring each other very, very strongly right now. Fill your own cup, love yourself, gather with the community or the people in your life that make you feel whole. Remember, you are whole and you are a part of source, and there is nothing that you cannot have, do, or be. Make sure you're resonating with the things that bring you joy and bring you into that wholeness. And that's when union will arrive. That's when rebirth and healing and resurrection in your situation will occur. In the bottom of the deck, the sky dancers with surrender. This is a time just to surrender to your path, surrender to this extraordinary journey, even though it is super challenging. It is not for the faint of heart, but everybody who's on this journey is on it because they can do it, because you were made for this. And so, time to remember that. All right, final messages for this Mercury retrograde. I'm using the Gateway of Light activation by Kyle Gray. And I'll just pull like 2 final cards to see what else wants to come through. Higher Self, Holy Spirit, guides and guardians of unconditional love. What messages do you want to bring through for this Mercury retrograde? It's not going to be all bad. I do want to say that. But it is going to be, it is challenging. It's a challenging energy that we're all going to kind of be in during this time, all right? So I'm actually pulling 3 because these 2 are stuck together. And then this one is kind of wanting to pop out. So the first one is Gaia's Gateway, Learning Experiences, Wisdom Transmission, and Earth Intelligence. Really important to connect with the Earth at this time. We have a Palladian activation, and you know what? It's so funny because I'll talk about it after I read it. It says coming together, harmony in the heavens, and resolution. Yes, for some, this retrograde period is going to bring a lot of resolution to relationship situations that have been really challenging. And I apologize for the background noise. I don't know what my kids are doing in the background there. But what I wanted to say about the Pleiadian activation is, and the reason why I wanted to use this deck, the Gateway of Light Activation Oracle, is because this time is really, really a really special time for starseeds. If you resonate with that, if you identify as a starseed, there are so many more star beings, so many more guides from different star systems, including the Pleiades, coming in really, really strongly. I'm having a lot of experiences, expanded experiences, and many of you will as well. And so just know that your cosmic family is with you and you are not alone. And there is a beautiful coming together, harmony in the heavens, and resolution here for you during this period, even if there's a lot of challenge, okay? And last but certainly not least is the higher heart activation. This is your sacred heart, and it is dropping shields, divine love, your heart is healed. So for some of the truths that come out in the conversations, even if they're challenging, bring in a significant amount of healing to these situations and relationships that you are currently in. So, like I said, not all bad, but it is challenging. It's definitely a challenging energy that we're all going through right now. So I'm sending lots of love, and I hope everyone is just doing well. And just remember, you are here for a reason. Your life is extraordinary, and you have an amazing purpose. Never forget that. All right, take care.